Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, May 24th. I'm Patricia Vallone. Glad to have you with us tonight. Well, was it a callous hit and run or a tragedy caused by driver error? It's day 2 in the trial for a woman charged in a 2010 fatal pedestrian accident. But we hear the attorneys are already wrapping up their cases. Reporter Denise Douglas is on the phone now with an update from the courthouse. Denise?
Hi there, Patty. Well, right now the case is actually in the hands of the jury. But let me tell you that the highlight of the case today was that the defendant took the stand. Chrissy Litterford testified about driving on Route 202 early in the morning 2 years ago, saying that she knew she'd hit something, but when she looked back, she didn't see anything. It wasn't until she'd gotten home and saw the bike under her truck that she knew something was wrong. And, of course, what we know was wrong was that Natasha Pettigrew had been hit and later died. Pettigrew was riding her bike training for a triathlon there along 202 close to Prince George's Community College. Now, while prosecutors say that Litterford should be found guilty because she left the scene, she didn't give assistance to Pettigrew and was negligent in terms of driving, Litterford's attorney says, no, wait a minute. She didn't know what happened. She even went to the hospital and the police station when she actually saw the bike under her truck to try and figure out exactly what took place. And he maintains that it is simply an accident, not a crime. But again, this case now in the hands of the jury. They'll have to weigh both sides of this and make a decision, and that could come back as early as this evening. Going to go ahead and toss it back to you in the studio, Patty.
All right, thank you, Denise. And that was the latest on the Littleford trial from the courthouse in Upper Marlboro. Well, Prince George's pays out nearly $1 million to settle a lawsuit linked to the Jack Johnson corruption scandal. According to the Washington Post, developer Arun Luthra was paid $550,000 to settle his claims of a pay-to-play bribery scheme. Additionally, the county spent about $450,000 on private attorneys to represent the government. Luthra says the bribery occurred under the administration of former county executive Jack Johnson, now serving time in federal prison. Luthra says he was frequently pressured for payoffs and campaign contributions. In settling the lawsuit, Prince George's did not admit to wrongdoing. Well, thousands of Washingtonians are expected to travel out of town for the Memorial Day weekend, the majority of them by car. Even though gas prices have been going down for the last 7 weeks, they are still relatively high. Today, Comptroller Peter Franchot and his team of inspectors did a surprise test at a gas station to see if customers are really getting their money's worth. CTV's Sonia Srivastava reports.
Well, we're here at the Exxon gas station right near Montgomery Mall in Bethesda. And earlier today, State Comptroller Peter Franchot paid a surprise visit to this gas station to do a motor fuel test. Ben Salton is getting ready for the 3-day weekend by filling up his car. He's moving to Massachusetts.
The best quality gas is going to be best for my car. If I get the best mileage, then it's important to me for sure.
Salton is one of thousands of residents who will be heading out of town this Memorial Day. The average price for a gallon of gas here at this Exxon near Montgomery Mall in Bethesda is $3.80. Today, Comptroller Peter Franchot paid a surprise visit to see if consumers are really getting the gas that is advertised.
We want to make sure that when someone comes into a gas station in Maryland and pays money for high-octane gas, that it in fact is high-octane gas. In addition to those inspections, our officers look at all of the signage, all of the permits, licenses, and make sure that everything is up to speed.
Inspectors took fuel from each of the grades. Those samples were then measured using a Zeltex field tester to see if they have the octane that is listed on the pump.
They'll be all verified by a motor fuel testing lab, which they'll actually be run on octane knock engines.
Officials say majority of the time, failure in fuel is a problem at the supply level.
The wrong fuels may be dumped in the wrong tank. Most of the time, it's some type of an error that takes place. Sometimes it's the blending that takes place, again, at the supplier level. The reduced octane may actually impact the car adversely.
We're happy to report that the station not only passed all the grades, but also exceeded the levels. Station manager Ransford Mason says he's not surprised because they do independent checks on the pumps every month.
They come in every month to do the checks and run the fuel and see what is wrong, and if the gas is running slow and the pump is running slow, they come and do it.
Because we inspect 75 to 80% of all the gas stations every year, I think everybody in Maryland's on notice that you should not try to cut corners. And so we find about a 1% violation rate.
As for Sultan, he's glad he's getting what he's paying for.
It's not something I know a lot about, but I'll definitely, after hearing that, I'm sure I'll come back here. I mean, I've come here like my whole life. I've lived in the area my whole life. So yeah, that's good to hear.
Now we're told that if a pump does not meet the octane levels, they will shut that particular pump down at the gas station and will not open it until it clears the test. In Bethesda, I'm Sonia Srivastava for CTV News.
And Franchot says Maryland is #1 in the nation when it comes to protecting consumers from getting bad gasoline. So you get a phone call saying you want a new car and $2.5 million. Sound too good to be true? Well, a New Carrollton woman found out the hard way and lost about $3,000. Tonight, police say the 73-year-old victim was scammed by a caller who said he represented Publishers Clearinghouse.
On yesterday evening, we received a phone call from a banking institution in Greenbelt stating that an elderly woman came into the bank to make a withdrawal of $8,000 in cash. And the bank teller became very suspicious, and they asked the customer, why do you need this much money? And she stated that she was not able to say because this was a surprise and was told not to tell why she received the money. Therefore, the bank teller, they contacted the police. Once the police became involved, made contact with the victim, it was discovered that the victim received a phone call at her home advising her that she just became a winner from the Publishers Clearinghouse and that she had won $2.5 million and a brand new car. And in order for her to collect her winnings, which they would bring to her house the next morning, that she had to go and withdraw $8,000.
Police say scams occur often, but they don't always hear about it because people are too ashamed to report the crimes. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.